Should have brought my sword. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakmadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson, Lord's will. This is edifying to the Lord's play. I wanted to look this up last night. It says, this is on time.com, the 200-year-old foreign policy vision underlying Trump's Done Road Doctrine. So I want to know what the hell is that Done Road Doctrine he was talking about. I think it was yesterday. This says January the 7th. It says, in the wake of the U.S.'s stunning operation to depose Venezuela President Maduro, President Donald Duck has coined a new term to describe his approach to foreign policy, the Done Road Doctrine. Okay, so that's his approach. His approach to foreign policy is, he named it the Done Road Doctrine. So it says, speaking to reporters at Mar-a-Lago on Saturday, Duck cast the operation as part of a revival of the Monroe Doctrine. Oh, so he switched it up. Don being Donald Duck, and then with Monroe, okay. A policy vision first articulated in 1823 by then President James Monroe to oppose European interference in the Western Hemisphere. So that's what it is, huh? Oppose European interference in the Western Hemisphere. So he don't really give a fuck about you Europeans, man. He don't really care about what you got going on over there, you know, with your politics and all of that. That gets overshadowed when it comes to Esau. It tells you in the I think in the book of Ecclesiasticus. Let's go there. It calls him a niggard at his own table. Let's get into that. I'm telling you, man. Ecclesiasticus 14 verse 10, a wicked eye envieth his bread, and he is a niggard at his table. So that means it's like a nigga at a table, man. You know, it makes me think of somebody that's locked up. You know, I forgot. I think it was Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. They were doing a bid. They were eating, and somebody came over and snatched his cornbread from off his tray. And he was like, I don't want my cornbread. That's kind of like Esau. Esau is that dude that he's the biggest dude in the joint, so he'll come over there and snatch your cornbread and your snack off your tray, and you know, in a situation like that. But let's look up Ecclesiasticus 14 and 10. Let me grab this real quick and see that's what a niggard is, man. It goes into somebody that's stingy, he's greedy. That's how Esau thinks. Esau is a big dude right now too. The duck's pretty big, man. Okay. Let me go grab this in chat. Ecclesiasticus 14 verse 10 meaning. It says, the verse condemns stinginess, envy, and selfishness, especially in matters of food, wealth, and hospitality. A man with an evil eye is someone who resents others receiving blessings and refuses to share even when he has abundance. Refusing to share even when he has abundance, man. You know? You got all this power, all this wealth. You supposedly put NATO on their feet. You gave them all this money. That's what he's saying. We gave you, we made you. So that gives you the authority to come and say and do as you please from here on out. You know, that's why it says the borrower is servant to the lender. You don't want to be taking cash, man. You want to get it yourself. You know, because situations like this, especially when you're dealing with a niggard. Okay, it says key phrase breakdown: an evil eye. In biblical uses, the eye represents the mind, spirit, and intention. An evil eye is not mystical here. It means envious, covetous, greedy, ungenerous. And that's what Esau is. Now he covets the whole Western Hemisphere. He even switched up the doctrine that's not even his and put his name on it. Even though another Edomite, started it. That's just the way of the Edomites. He gonna remix it, put his name on it. That's what Esau does. He's not original with anything. The Dun Road doctrine. Any European interference, he wants to oppose it. That's probably why he's sending the U.S. Coast Guard all the way to the coast of Iceland. What the hell are you doing over there? You ain't on the U.S. coast. That's not your coast. But I was looking it up. It says that he was working with the UK and other European nations to go take down that tanker. But then to find out there was nothing in the tanker to begin with. So you went around chasing a tanker that there's nothing in there, man. So now you look like a fool. Now you got an old tanker, man. You thought you came up on a lot of oil. They said that there was some Russian, I don't know, nationalists, not nationalists, Russian. There was some people over there. I don't know if he might have kidnapped some more people. Who knows? Who knows, man? It says Proverbs 28 and 22. He that hasteth to be rich with have an evil eye. Let me just give you some precepts. It says envieth bread. Bread represents basic provision and daily sustenance. This person is so corrupt that it says begrudges even food being shared with others. Let me see, look at this word, begrudges. Begrudges, envy, resent. Because all the Edomites are eating. But he's the type of dude, he's eating, he got his own plate, but he's looking at you eat your food. And he's like, damn, man, I know I got chicken on my plate, but his chicken look bigger than mine. I want to get that piece of chicken. You know? That's how a nigga is, man. He'll eat, and he'll be eyeing your food. He'll be eating his food while he's looking at your food, envying what you got on your plate. Like, damn, I didn't even go get me some collard greens. I need to go, instead of getting up, like if you had a function or something, instead of getting up and go grab yourself a plate and go, like that man did, he'll take it off your plate when you ain't looking. And that's kind of what he's doing, man. He might tell those other European nations, I need to go over there because, this Russian asset. But who knows what he's doing? Now he's saying he wants to buy Greenland. You got enough money to buy look how big Greenland is. Greenland probably ain't even as big as it is shown on a map. You know? It says the person is so corrupt that he begrudges, which means envies, even food being shared with others. He sees giving as loss, not righteousness. Yeah, he sees giving as a loss. You should be working with your allies, not trying to figure out a way to take what they have so you can make it yours, so you can defend. That's the point of having an ally. So it's deeper than just having an ally, man. It's deeper than that. He just wants your shit. He wants to take everything over. It's not just you. And he's willing to do it. That's why it tells you in Daniel the 7th chapter, his look was more stout than his fellows, talking about how proud he is. His pride's a little more than the rest of those European nations, and they're starting to see it like, damn, this nigga, he won't stop. He's gotten over, he's out of his damn mind. And these are things that they're starting to say to themselves, like, yo, when are we gonna draw the line with these niggas? We sitting in the middle. Yeah, we don't want to fuck with the Russians, but look at him. How long we gonna fuck with this dude? Let me grab it. In the book of Isaiah. No, I think it's Habakkuk. How long? Let me grab it, KJV. Put in my phone. It said how long? I think I'm thinking about Isaiah maybe. How long? It's not Isaiah. Okay. Forgot where the precept is. Yeah, Habakkuk 2 verse 6. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that layeth himself with thick clay. Yeah, you increasing that which is not yours, man. How long you gonna keep doing that? So these different nations gotta have it in their mind. We gotta draw the line with this nigga somewhere. We don't know where it's at, but we gotta draw the line somewhere with him, because he's gonna cross that line. Going back to the Lord setting those bounds that he cannot pass. In the book of Job, this devil got bounds that he cannot pass. And that's the thing about the Edomite. He likes to try to get. He likes to keep seeing what he can get away with, but then he's gonna find out he ain't getting away with nothing. Job 14:4. Who can bring it clean out of an unclean? Not one. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So he got bounds that he cannot pass, and they're gonna start drawing the line with him, man. They're gonna start drawing the line with him, just like the Romans did to Antiochus Epiphanes. As a matter of fact, let's look that up. Who was the general that drew a line in the sand from Rome with the Romans when Antiochus Epiphanes went into Egypt? The Roman general who drew a line in the sand was Gaius Popillius Laenas, who confronted King Antiochus IV Epiphanes of the Seleucid Empire in 168 BC near Alexandria, Egypt, forcing his withdrawal and demonstrating Roman power. Antiochus IV Epiphanes was already in Egypt, specifically advancing towards Alexandria, when this famous encounter happened following his second invasion, and was told to leave or face war with Rome. The line in the sand incident, who Gaius Popillius Laenas, a Roman ambassador, it says what he presented in, it's saying who, what, when, where, and the act. I'm just going to read it. It says what he presented Antiochus IV with a Roman ultimatum to withdraw from Egypt. And it says 168 BC, where near Alexandria, the act, when Antiochus asked for time to consult with his advisors, Laenas drew a circle in the sand around the king with his walking stick and demanded an immediate answer before he stepped out. Outcome, Antiochus, intimidated by Rome's display, agreed to withdraw, ending his campaign in Egypt. So we'll see what happens with the duck, because he seems to be with that same type of Antiochus Epiphanes type of mindset, where he goes into your he's going into other, because Antiochus Epiphanes, coming from the Seleucid Empire, was going into Egypt. So when he was going in, that's another what do you call it? That's another Edomite stronghold. Let me grab this in the book of Daniel, the 11th chapter, because it goes into that. Daniel 11, in verse 1. Also, in the first year of Darius the Mede, even I stood to confirm and strengthen him. And now will I show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than they all. And by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Grecia. And that's, I believe that's talking about Cassabeus. I forgot these 3 kings in Persia. But let me just look it up. Daniel 11 and 2, meaning. if they say it right. Who were the three kings, man? Who are the three kings? Cyrus the Great, Cambyses the Second, Smerdis, Darius, and the fourth king is Xerxes, right? Xerxes is the one who that king that had all this money to come up against Grecia. He wanted to go destroy these Edomites. Daniel 11:3, and a mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with great dominion and do according to his will. And that's talking about Alexander the Greek. And when he shall stand, his kingdom shall be broken and shall be divided toward the four winds of heaven, and not to his posterity, nor according to his dominion which he ruled, for his kingdom shall be plucked up even for others beside those. So that's talking about Alexander the Greek. When he died, his kingdom got split into four. And when his kingdom got split into four, going into First Maccabees, the first chapter, and Daniel the 8th chapter, that's where you get the split after after Alexander the Greek. You had Lacedaemonius, Cassander, Ptolemy, and Seleucid. Okay, so that's his kingdom being split to the four winds. All right, and it says not to his posterity, so it went to his friends. It didn't go to like his son or someone of his family line. Daniel 11:5, and the king of the south shall be strong, and one of his princes, and he shall be strong above him and have dominion. His dominion shall be a great dominion. Yeah, so that great dominion is talking about Ptolemy. He had a great dominion. So out of those four winds, he got Egypt. I don't think you pronounce the P in Ptolemy, but there's a P in it. Daniel 11:6, and in the end of years they shall join themselves together, for the king's daughter of the south shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement, but she shall not retain the power of the arm, neither shall he stand nor his arm, but she shall be given up, and they that brought her, and he that begot her, and he that strengthened her in these times. So that they made marriage arrangements to try to consolidate power, but it didn't work. And you could go and look into the wars between Antiochus Epiphanes and Ptolemy, and learn about that woman that tried to consolidate power. It didn't work. Daniel 11:7. But out of a branch of her roots shall one stand up in his estate, which shall come with an army, and shall enter into the fortress of the king of the north, and shall deal against them, and shall prevail, and shall also carry captives into Egypt, their gods with their princes, and with their precious vessels of silver and of gold. And he shall continue more years than the king of the north. So the king of the south shall come into his kingdom, and shall return into his own land. But his sons shall be stirred up, and shall assemble a multitude of great forces, and one shall certainly come and overthrow and pass through. Then shall he return and be stirred up even to his fortress. Now, going into these different kings, but it's going to eventually get into, you got to learn about the Maccabean period. There's a lot of information that Daniel is talking about here, but I want to get to the point of the king of the north. Daniel 11:13. For the king of the north shall return, and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come after certain years with a great army and with much riches. And in those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south. Also the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish division, but they shall fail. So the king of the north shall come and cast up a mount and take the most fenced cities, and the arms of the south shall not withstand, neither his chosen people, neither shall there be any strength to withstand. But he that cometh against him shall do according to his own will, and none shall stand before him, and he shall stand in the glorious land, which by his hand shall be consumed. And that's talking about Antiochus Epiphanes. Okay, because after he left Egypt, he went back into Jerusalem and destroyed it. He did a great slaughter against them. Daniel 11:16. Daniel 11 and 16 describes a powerful invader, often interpreted historically as Antiochus IV Epiphanes, or prophetically as, they're going off, who will act with complete freedom, with no one able to resist him as he takes his stand in the beautiful land, which is Israel, bringing destruction with him. And that's after he left Egypt, when you read the first book of Maccabees. Daniel 11 and verse 17, he shall also set his face to enter in with the strength of his whole kingdom, and upright ones with him. Thus shall he do, and he shall give him the daughter of women, corrupting her, but she shall not stand on his side, neither be for him. I gotta keep going. Let me jump down. Daniel 11. And where's the point at? Daniel 11 and 23. And after the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully, for he shall come up and shall come strong with a small people. He shall enter peaceably, even upon the fattest places of the province, and he shall do that which his fathers have not done, nor his fathers' fathers. He shall scatter among them the prey and spoil and riches, yea, and shall forecast his devices against the strongholds, even for a time. So that's talking about when he went into Jerusalem. And he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army, and the king of the south shall be stirred up to battle with a very great and mighty army, but he shall not stand, for they shall forecast devices against him. Let me get that real quick. This is Daniel 11:25 describes a powerful ruler, Antiochus IV Epiphanes, mustering a massive army to attack the king of the south, which is Egypt, but facing defeat due to plots and internal treachery, despite the king of the south also gathering a huge force, highlighting the complex power struggles and shifting alliances among Hellenistic kingdoms. But long story short, man, I couldn't find a precept that I'm actually looking for, but it's going into those two battles, coveting something that is not his. This is the history of the so-called white man. He going to fight. That's him being a nigga at his own table. You got a piece of the pie. Alexander the Greek split the kingdom into four. You got your piece, and then you went over and tried to steal from your brother. And that's what he's doing in this time. Is the point that I'm trying to make here, but you know, let me just land the plane, man. So he's a niggard at his own table. You finish that precept. Okay. It says, he sees giving as loss, not righteousness. It says a niggard at his table. Niggard means miserly, stingy, tight-fisted. That's right. It means niggardly, tight-fisted, man. You don't want to share. You just want everything to yourself. You want it all to yourself, man. And in Antiochus Epiphanes' mind, he would have went all the way into Egypt, and if he was able to do what he needed to do there, he would have continued and tried to get the same power that he had, that Alexander the Greek had. That's what all those Edomites were trying to do. And that's what Esau is trying to do right now. He's trying to conquer. He wants to take over the whole. He wants to be that king. That he wants to take over the whole, everything. All right, so his plan's going to fail, man. Just like Antiochus Epiphanes. Even in his own house, he withholds. So even in his own house, he withholds. So the people who are dealing with him here in Babylon, they ain't even gonna be satisfied with this dude, man. That's why you see a lot of people departing from the Republican Party. You're getting a new base coming out here, man. You're getting a new Republican base. A lot of people are agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene and other Republican people who dropped out, because they see that, what is he doing? He's trying to get in with the small hat, but the small hat ain't fucking with you, man. He gonna use you and throw you away like he does everybody else. He don't give a fuck about you, man. He greedy as hell. But the duck trying to get good with you can't get in there, man. Amalek don't fuck with y'all like that. And then you gonna be the one in the middle. All the blame gonna fall on the duck. That's what happens when you're a fool. That's what happened to Sennacherib. Let's go to Sennacherib real quick. How did Sennacherib die? Sennacherib, something like that. I forgot how to spell it. Sennacherib, the powerful Neo-Assyrian king, was assassinated in 681 BC by his sons, Adremelech and Ardamulisu and Sharezer and Nebuchadnezzar, who stabbed him to death in his palace, likely in his temple dedicated to god Nisroch, after being passed over for succession in favor of his younger brother Esarhaddon. His death followed a period of conflict, including his destruction of Babylon, which angered many and ultimately led to a civil war as Esarhaddon fought his brothers to secure the throne. So it just continues and continues. Continues and continues. So he's more willing to let him fall and be the sacrifice or the scapegoat, they call it. All the sins go upon the scapegoat. Let's actually go there. Leviticus 16. In verse, I start at 7. And he shall take the 2 goats and present them before the Lord Yahweh at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron shall cast lots upon the 2 goats, one lot for the Lord and the other lot for the scapegoat. And Aaron shall bring the goat upon which the Lord's lot fell and offer him for a sin offering. But the goat on which the lot fell to be the scapegoat shall be presented alive before the Lord to make an atonement with him and to let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness. And Aaron shall bring the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and shall make an atonement for himself and for his house, and shall kill the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself. And he shall take a censer full of burning coals of fire from off the altar before the Lord in his hands, full of sweet incense, beaten small, and bring it within the veil. And he shall put the incense upon the fire before the Lord, and that the cloud of the incense may cover the mercy seat that is upon the testimony that he died not. And he shall take of the blood of the bullock and sprinkle it with his finger upon the mercy seat eastward. And before the mercy seat shall he sprinkle of the blood with his finger 7 times. Then shall he kill the goat of the sin offering that is for the people, and bring his blood within the veil, and do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bullock, and sprinkle it upon the mercy seat and before the mercy seat. Hold on, let me get back to the scapegoat. Let me jump down. Leviticus 16 and 20. And when he had made an end of reconciling the holy place and the tabernacle of the congregation and the altar, he shall bring the live goat, which is the scapegoat. And Aaron shall lay both his hands upon the head of the live goat and confess over him all the iniquities of the children of Israel and all their transgressions and all their sins, putting them upon the head of the goat, and shall send him away by the hand of a fit man into the wilderness. So the scapegoat holds all the sins, and he gonna get led away into the wilderness. So he don't know that that's what they're gonna do to the duck. They're gonna put all these sins that he's doing, all the shit that he transgressed, all these laws, all of that, that's gonna all fall on the duck. You know, whether he knows it or not, I don't know. But that's what Israel's going to do to his ass, man. It's all your fault. Okay? Leviticus 16 in verse 22, and the goat shall bear upon him all their iniquities unto a land not inhabited, and he shall let go the goat in the wilderness. And Aaron shall come into the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall put off the linen garments which he put on when he went into the holy place, and shall leave them there. And he shall wash his flesh with water in the holy place, and put on his garments, and come forth and offer his burnt offering and the burnt offering of the people, and make an atonement for himself and for the people. And that's not talking about the duck, man. He's basically doing a sacrifice for the nation of Israel. Then he's sending the scapegoat. But what I'm saying here is, Amalek's gonna put these sins on all these sins that on him. He's just, we can just blame him. Him and not a Jew, man. They the scapegoats, man. We didn't have anything to do with that. As a matter of fact, not a Jew just went into court and the judge ended up getting put to death. Isn't that crazy? So all these sins, they're gonna be like, look, we try to persecute him. We try to save face. That's him like washing himself off. And listen, we ain't got nothing to do with that. Just trying to save face, putting all these sins upon these scapegoats. So they're gonna see in these last days what I'm talking about, man. That's what you do. Then you run away with the bag and everything's all right. You look cleaner than your counterpart. But the plan's not gonna work, man, because they never incorporate the Lord. The Lord's gonna come in and he's gonna stop all this mess. All right. So even Esdras got put to death. Let's see what else it says. It says why. It says details of his death. It says why. Likely due to resentment from his older sons, who were passed over for the throne by Sennacherib's designation of his youngest son as Sarhadon as heir. His raising of Babylon may also have fueled resentment. Sennacherib's death triggered a brief civil war as his sons fought for control. As Radon emerged victorious, executed his brothers, and took the throne, restoring Babylon as a gesture of appeasement. And that's not going to happen in these last days, man. Babylon's not going to get back built back up. Let me grab this in the book of Isaiah 33:1. It says, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. So that's talking about they shall deal treacherously with thee. So that's talking about that could be applied to Sennacherib. When he ceased to deal treacherously, what happened? He got put to death, and that caused a civil war. That the Lord tells you he does these things multiple times, man. He does Ecclesiastes 1 in verse 9. It says, the thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. So the Lord just be running the same play over and over. You know, so these new kings, they all fall the same way. They all fall the same way, man. All of them. Tells you that he setteth up kings and putteth down others. He's the one who does all these things. Well, let me finish this. It says, Sirach is teaching that wealth without charity is wickedness. A man who refuses to share proves he doesn't trust the Lord's provision. In Israelite culture, hospitality was a command, not an option. Being stingy reveals lack of faith, pride, hatred towards one's neighbor. Such a spirit brings judgment, not blessing. And that's exactly what Esau was created to be. A spirit that was created for judgment. Okay? It tells you in the book of Romans, the 9th chapter, that Esau is a vessel for dishonor. That's ultimately what he was created to be a dishonorable vessel that the Lord can just break. Okay. So it says Ecclesiastes 14:10 warns that envy corrupts the soul, greed dishonors the Most High, hoarded blessings become curses. A rich man gives freely. Let me grab this in the book of James, the 4th chapter. It goes into that. Testament, James chapter 4. It says things to avoid at the top. James 4:1, from whence come wars and fightings among you? Come they not hence, even of your lusts that war in your members? Yeah, that's right. It's even of your lusts that war in your members. That's where wars and things come from. It stems from a form of it's your sin, man. It's your sin. Covetousness, like it tells you in Exodus, the 20th chapter, comes from idolatry. It comes from it's pretty much the lust of the flesh. You want something that's not yours, so you come up with a plan on how you can take it. Let me grab this in the book of Micah, chapter 2, and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields, and they take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. So they're willing to take what's not theirs. Okay, that's the heritage of an oppressor. And Esau does all these things, so he's the modern day oppressor. It tells you in the book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 68. Let me grab that real quick. The Lord's will I can jump back if I remember. Let me grab it. Luke 1, verse 68. It says, blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he have visited and redeemed his people. So he redeemed his people. He didn't redeem everybody else. It says, and have raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. So he raised up a horn of salvation for us. Okay? So it don't say for the oppressor too. It don't say for any, it goes to show you don't save the person who's oppressing the person that needs to be saved. You save the person that's being oppressed. And you destroy the person that oppressed them. That's what salvation is. Luke 1, verse 69, and he raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. That's right, we should be saved from our enemies. Okay? That's what salvation is. To perform the mercy promised to our fathers and to remember his holy covenant, the oath which he sware to our father Abraham, that he would grant unto us that we, being delivered out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear. That's right. So we being delivered out of the hands of our enemies, that we could serve the Lord without fear. Just like in the book of Exodus. We were in Egypt. Moses told Pharaoh, let my people go so they could serve me. And he wouldn't let them go. Because the Lord hardened his heart. And that's what he's doing with the so-called white man. He's hardening his heart. So he can continue in this wickedness, so he can go down that path that he can't come back from. Luke 1, verse 75. In holiness and righteousness before him all the days of our life. And thou, child, shalt be called the prophet of the highest, for thou shalt go before the face of the Lord to prepare his ways. And that's talking about John the Baptist. How you doing today, sir? I'm talking about John the Baptist. Zechariah's prayer is pretty much talking about him. He's preparing the way. We're like the same thing. We're in that same type of stead. We're preparing the way of the Lord by getting the bride ready, by getting them ordained or adorned with the right garment. This is all a rehearsal that we're practicing before the Lord returns. Police forces coming out today. Trump claimed that under Maduro, Venezuela had hosted foreign adversaries in our region and acquired menacing offensive weapons that could threaten U.S. interests and lives. So now he's hitting them with the weapons of mass destruction. All of these actions were in gross violation of the core principles of American foreign policy dating back more than 2 centuries, Trump said. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrine. And the Monroe Doctrine is a big deal, but we've superseded it by a lot, by a real lot. They now call it the Dunroe Doctrine. Okay. Yeah, because you're done, man. You're done. The Dunroe Doctrine, because you're done. You're through, man. That's the doctrine of death. That's what that is. Says, that's what it is, man. He needs to protect himself, supposedly. So that's what he's doing. Minnesota ICE shooting updates. Woman death raises 4 across U.S. What? As the city of Minneapolis reels in the aftermath of the fatal shooting of a woman by an immigration agent, Minnesota investigators say they have withdrawn from a probe into the agent's use of force after being denied access to evidence. Ooh, the Lord's stirring up the pot, man. He's stirring up the pot. So not only did he kill the lady, they're not going to investigate it, and they're not giving them access to the evidence. That's some fucked up shit, man. That's the times that we're living in. That's why it's better to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability and hope the Lord have mercy upon us. And we'll find ourselves in the spirit realm and going through the same thing. And no one's going to think about this a couple days from now. Something else is going to happen today, tomorrow, and it's going to be something else. You know, you don't hear people talk about Charlie Kirk anymore except for J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is the only one talking about it. I saw some wild shit online saying how J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk are related. I wouldn't doubt it, man. I wouldn't doubt it. This is a wicked ass world, man. You wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it unless the Lord reveals all the shit that's going on in this world. This is a wicked society, man. This is the worst of wickedness on top of wickedness, man. This is crazy. Then they're saying that they go back to, like, they were trying to trace their bloodline back to something, man. I think it's sent to the Rothschilds, man. It's some crazy shit. I wouldn't doubt it, though. It says the woman identified by the Minneapolis City Council as Renee Nicole Goods, 37, was shot in the head on Wednesday in a residential neighborhood south of downtown Minneapolis. The fatal shooting was captured on video by witnesses and sparked widespread anger amid heightened political and community tensions over immigration activity in the city as part of President Donald Duck's nationwide immigration enforcement effort. So Duck signed all this shit to prevent. He said he's with the police officers. He also signed a bill where if the police officer has like some poor conduct or whatever, that's erased. That's erased. So you got all types of pieces of shit with badges on them right now. So this ain't the time, and that's what Esau does. You got big, fat Edomites with alphabets on their shirts, clapping Becky, man. You didn't have to shoot Becky like that, man. She was trying to get up out of there. And she got up out of there, man. You know? So a lot of this shit, man, tells you in Ecclesiastes 5 and 8, you ain't supposed to be marveling at, astonished when you see injustice in a province, man. You're supposed to be firm on Yahweh Shah. It tells you in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter, that there's going to be many deaths, man. There's going to be a lot of deaths. Well, a lot of y'all ain't prepared for that. Something's going to happen to somebody, and that's going to throw you right into the hole that Esau dug. He's digging pits for y'all. 2nd Ezra 5 and 1, nevertheless, as coming the tokens, behold, the day shall come, that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. So you ain't gonna have that faith that's gonna keep you sustained. Okay? You're not gonna account these things to the words of the Lord. So you're not gonna be stable in that in these times. Because you don't understand what's written in the book. You don't know the storyline. You don't understand the script. We're all playing the script out here, man. That the Lord ordained us to play. You gotta play your role. Okay? Part of the role is keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. Ultimately, keeping your faith in Yahweh Shai. If you ain't got that, ain't no point in keeping the law if you don't believe in Yahweh Shai. You can keep the law if you want, but if you don't believe in Yahweh Shai, it's not going to be accounted to you as righteousness. It starts with believing in Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and then all those things are, you're going to start walking different. You're going to be converted. He's going to be the one guiding your steps, keeping you from transgressions. Okay? What else is out there? It says senators force third war powers vote to limit Trump strikes on Venezuela. Let's see, what's this? You hear that? You hear more rumors of wars. Let's read it. It says Washington, after 2 previous unsuccessful attempts, the Senate moved Thursday toward limiting President Duck's ability to further strike Venezuela as the U.S. leader continues to take unilateral action against the South American country. Well, he's going to be attacking Colombia soon. I was watching a video last night that was saying how Colombia, they don't believe what the rhetoric, we always work with the U.S. military against all these things. Well, that rhetoric is going to get real. He just showed you his rhetoric is true. He's coming in there too. So don't be surprised when something happened to you. He already told you he don't like your president. He's accusing him of doing the same shit that just happened in Venezuela. So if you don't see that coming, then you're a damn fool too. You people are dumb, man. Let me go protect my border, but you still sharing information. Get the hell out of here, man. It says the Senate voted 52-47 to advance a war powers resolution. Days after the U.S. captured Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife in a nighttime raid that came not only as a surprise to the former president, but also to Congress. So he didn't even tell Congress. Imagine that, man. Listen, we're gonna go steal a president today. And the whole military was like, all right, yeah, let's do it. Let's go. And that's why he set up people that they ain't gonna listen to the law, man. There's a lot of corruption. For something like that to play off, it ain't just Donald Duck, man. Don't blame it just on the Duck. That gotta go to Pete Hegseth. It gotta go to Marco Rubio. I mean, it's the whole government. Well, I can't say all of them, but it's a lot of people that are involved for something like that to play out the way it did. Come on, man, that's wicked. It says 5 Republicans joined all Democrats in support of the measure. GOP Senate's Todd Young of Indiana, Lisa of Alaska, Susan of Maine, and Rand Paul of Kentucky, and Josh Hawley of Missouri all voted to advance the measure. Mr. Duck had long teased land strikes against Venezuela, going into that rhetoric, and he actually bombed it after too. Amid a months-long military campaign against alleged drug smuggling boats at sea that has killed more than 100 people, and he killed about 80-something people in getting Maduro. Mr. Duck has not ruled out additional military action. He has said that the U.S. will run the country for the time being and control its oil sales after Saturday's strikes, which were carried out as part of a daring operation to capture Maduro and bring him to the U.S. to face charges. So I wouldn't be surprised if they, but like he said, man, no one can take us. He said that a couple days ago. Tells you in Wisdom of Solomon, I think 2:11. Let the law be the strength. Let our law be our strength. Something like that. Wisdom of Solomon 2:11. So he's gonna let his military strength be his law. He don't give a fuck about the Geneva Code and you know, the laws, statutes, and commandments. He don't give a fuck about none of that, man. He's coming in. He know he got a short time left. He's using Esau to do everything he needs to do so he can get to where he needs to go in these last days. Okay. My phone's about to die. Oh yeah, this nigga, I forgot this dude's name. Kennedy. You know that man, right? Kennedy. Robert Kennedy, I think his name is. Yeah, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Got a new dietary guidelines from the Trump administration. Now I was watching that. It said you gotta eat real food. Well, how can we eat real food if you 3D printing meat in people's Campbell soup? One thing he did say that I agree with, which I'm surprised, it might seem small, but it's huge. He said you got to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, man. And I do that, so I agree with that, 100%. He said a lot of them. He said you got to eat your proteins too, but you got to eat more fruits and vegetables than you eat your proteins, man. Their dietary laws are ass backwards, man. I wouldn't even eat the meat, honestly. I mean, you can have fish. All of it's defiled. There's nothing you can really do about it. But you know, you got to do it the best you can with what we have. I'm at 2%. Let me grab this precept. In the book of Ecclesiasticus 30 and 25, it says, a cheerful and good heart will have care of his meat and diet. So, you know, you got to have your mindset got to be a certain type of way to take care of yourself a certain type of way. You can't have a lot of people who eat poorly. They got, you know, stress. You know, they got, it's always something, man. You know, you got to get your mind right. Whatever, that's where it all starts. Starts with your mind, man. This dude's about to die. Homeless man be crossing the street. He don't even look both ways. He don't even give a fuck. He's like, man, just kill me. You don't want to have a mindset like that. Ecclesiasticus 37 and 27. My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it. So you got to prove what's evil for you and give not your soul over to it, man. If you can maintain yourself from, you know, your appetite, man, there's nothing wrong with eating. It's good to eat. If you're gonna eat a lot, if you like to eat a lot, just eat a lot of good shit. That's what's gonna benefit you, man. Eat a lot of fruits. If you like to eat a lot, man, just eat what's good for you, man. Okay? I gotta finish this. My phone about to die. Ecclesiastes 37:28. All things are not profitable for all men, neither have every soul pleasure in everything. Be not unsatiable in a dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats. Okay, so you don't want to be too, dainties going into like, shit. The dainties are what the kings eat, man. Eat what's good for you, man. It says, Ecclesiastes 37:30, for excess of meats bringeth sickness, and surfeiting will turn into choler. Yeah, so you won't want to eat too much, it'll make you sick. By surfeiting have many perished, but he that taketh heed prolongeth his life. So you want to take heed. Let me look at this word surfeiting. It says, cause someone to desire no more of something as of having consumed or done it in excess. So you want to, maintain yourself, man. But I'm ending here. Lord's will, this was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Chakwadash, Shalom, Ababa Ball, and Kwam Yasharala.